You are at Lake Rant, where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for Anime Watcher, who says, rant about how someone can stop being a wage cuck. This is a complicated one, because there's nothing necessarily wrong with being a wage cuck. If you, there's nothing inherently wrong with being a cuck. Like, the, like, the nature of it is that it's, you're just doing a job so that you can make money so that you can live, right? Everybody understands that that's a necessity in their life. And really all you have to ask yourself is like, what do I exist for? Like, what am I living for? Like, let's say that you want to have a family, and that's what matters to you the most. You want to raise your children in the best way possible. Let's say that your theory is, I want to put my kids through college, and I want to make sure they're insured and that they have all their shit figured out, that I can afford to give them whatever they want. Well, you're probably going to want to get a very stable job with benefits that, you make a lot of money that you can put away. You might be more inclined to go for a more like wage slave kind of job, or maybe you'll try to go to college and get a higher paying job so that you can have an even better life for your kids. Or maybe you have the mindset that it's more about the time you can spend with your children more than just being able to provide for them, because you might have to work too much and not really get to have that much of a direct influence on your children's upbringings if you're working all the time, to put them through college and everything. So if you want to have more of a direct influence and work with them directly, maybe you want to have a job that doesn't require as many hours, maybe isn't as high paying, but gives you more time with the family. Or you could try to start up a family business and, work directly with, have them work with you as they grow up. There's all kinds of different routes you could take towards that. But the point is that if that's what your goal is I want to be a caregiver to a family, then it's reasonable to get a job that that corresponds to that. But you can also do that without necessarily needing to have that kind of job. It's just like, if that's the only thing you're worried about, you probably don't care about what kind of job it is. The goal is just to take care of your family. Now, if your goal is, I want to be satisfied with what I do, I want to have a job I enjoy, like, that is the first and foremost priority, then like, you can't let yourself become a wage cuck. It's like, if your goal is beyond just making money to live or making money to support someone else, if the goal is to enjoy your work or to feel pride in it, then you need to take yourself out of a position where you're doing jobs you don't like. And it's not that you can't do them for a while to get started. I think one of the biggest problems, like, with young people is that they seem to think that once they have a job, they're like locked in. That like, oh, if I get a regular job, that's gonna suck so bad. Will I ever escape? Yes, you can escape. Like, use the job as a means to launch yourself into something else. Like, when I got my job at Target, it was precisely to buy materials to do YouTube. I did that as fast as possible, and then as soon as I was making enough money on YouTube that it was, comparable to what I was making from Target, I left Target. Now, granted, I had an extremely low cost of living, so it wasn't like I was, needed that job just to put food on the table. I obviously didn't have a family or kids. It's a lot harder to change gears in life when you've already got, things laid on top of you. Like, I just played it. I've played my whole life very cautiously. I didn't have a family or kids because I didn't want to end up in a position where I would have to work to, to support them. I wanted to be in a position where I had that financial stability before having those things. So, like, it depends on where you're at in life right now. I mean, if you're just slaving away at a job just because, like, that's the thing to do, like, that's what you've been told you have to do, but you don't need to, like, you don't need this specific amount of money, or you don't need to take care of a family, why are you doing it? Like, again, just ask yourself, why am I doing whatever I'm doing? What do I want out of life? Be willing to take risks. Like, if you don't take risks, you never get anything. If you're not willing to put things on the line, and you have to appreciate that society has lots of safety nets. Like, the farthest you can possibly fall is that you go bankrupt and you go homeless. But even if you are bankrupt and homeless, you can still build back up from that point. You just have to know how to do it. And there's always the chance to do it. Like, let's say I were to go bankrupt and homeless tomorrow and all of my assets were seized. Well, like, my first goal would be to find my way to a library that has a computer with a webcam. Let's say that there's none in my city. I'm going to walk to another city. I'm going to beg for food and money from people on the street, buy cheap drinks in just jugs of water, because that's probably the most inexpensive drink you can get. So, like, let's say that I can get $5 off of somebody on the street, and I buy like 2 gallons of water. I need to get a backpack first, though. So first I'll try to scrounge together enough money for a backpack or some kind of large bag, get some water bottles and some, like whatever kind of food is the most cost effective to highest calorie output. It might take a few days to raise this money. Begging on the side of the street, assuming I literally can't do anything else. I mean, I guess I probably don't look any worse than I did. Like, I've just been kicked out of my house, so it's not like I'm filthy. I could probably go around and ask people if they want me to mow their lawn or something. Do they usually have to have your own lawnmower when you do that? Maybe if they have a lawnmower that they will just let me use. I don't know how that works exactly, actually. I'm going to try to find some way to make money as fast as possible, get together these basic necessities, find my way to a computer, and start vlogging. Because that's what I've been successful through before, and I know I could have a career do it again. Otherwise, I'm going to try to find a way to, there's shelters, stay with people who I can. If I can get in contact with people who I know online, I have connections. Not everybody has connections necessarily. Not everybody has friends or people who care about them. Maybe, to really bottom me out, I have to burn all my bridges. I'm like trying to imagine how I can fuck up so badly that I can't recover from it. And it's like I have to throw all these extra stipulations on it. Not everybody has all the same safety nets, but society has a lot of them. And as long as you're alive, you can build back up from zero. Just takes more time. So it's like, if you have a lot of safety nets, take it into account. Like, ask yourself, what will I lose if I quit my job? How long can I last without losing anything else? Like, for instance, Best Guy Ever just left his job, right? And he doesn't make enough on Patreon to live off of it month by month, but he saved up assloads of money from his job, doing a regular Wagecuck job, and, saved up enough so that when he leaves, he has, a year or 2 years that he can work on YouTube and try to make it viable. So it's like, that kind of planning works for some people, worked for him. Like, he wasn't willing to leave that job until he felt secure on being able to spend a whole year just developing, this thing until it's at a level where maybe it can pay for itself. And if it can't, he can go back to work. And he was very protective of the connections he had made there to make sure that he had a place when he went back. You could do things like that. I mean, if you're a good worker, places will probably hire you back. Like, when I left Target, they were like, hey, if you ever need a job again, come back to Target because we loved having you. You're a good employee, So, like, if you're a good employee, then, your job might eventually want you back, as long as you don't fuck them over in leaving. I feel like this is an explanation that, like, there's so many different answers to this. It really depends on your situation. Like, if somebody specifically was asking me, how do I escape my Wagecuck job, I'd have to go through your life with you and, find out what skills you have, what your ambitions are, what you really want out of life, how passionate are you? I mean, if you're really passionate, you probably already know that, and you just need to do it, you just need to go ahead and just do it. Don't wait for permission. because you will be waiting forever, because not everybody is ever going to give you this permission. I mean, it depends on who you're willing to listen to. Like, if you're always listening to your parents who want you to go to college, you're never going to get them to say that you should do something else. They're always going to tell you that you need to go to college because that's what they believe. If you're going to listen to me, then I'm always going to tell you not to go to college, and you're never going to get me to tell you the opposite. So, like, just make your own decision on the basis of who you think has a better argument or what you really feel. This is complicated.